Colors are more than what our eyes can see. They're energy, vibration, and emotion. They slip into our moods, shape our decisions, and even color how we see ourselves. Whether we notice it or not, colors are constantly speaking to us. They nudge us, guide us, and quietly influence the rhythm of our inner world. They're like silent messengers from the subconscious, whispering truths that our minds can't always translate into words. And today, you're going to experience this for yourself. Right in front of you are four colors: purple, blue, red, and yellow. Now don't think too hard about it. Don't try to analyze or decode what each one might mean. Just take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, let your intuition take the wheel for a moment. Ask yourself quietly, which of these colors feels like it belongs to me? Which one pulls me in for no logical reason at all? Your choice isn't random. It's not just a matter of taste. According to psychologist Carl Jung, colors, like symbols, act as bridges to the soul. They reflect what's hidden beneath the surface: your desires, your strengths, your fears, even the shadowy parts of your personality that you rarely show the world. By picking a color, you're holding up a mirror to your inner self. So here's the test. Look at these four colors again: purple, blue, red, and yellow. Trust your instinct. Go with your gut. Because the color you choose will reveal something deeper, a glimpse into who you really are. If you chose purple, if your eyes and heart were drawn to purple, that says a lot about the depth of your soul. Purple has always carried the vibration of mystery, wisdom, and spirituality. It's the color of seekers, of dreamers who crave meaning beyond the ordinary. Choosing purple means you aren't satisfied with shallow answers. You want truth. You want purpose. You're the kind of person who searches for connection and meaning in everything. You reflect deeply. You question constantly. And you often find as much strength in silence as in words. When life gets too noisy, you retreat inward, into that sacred space inside your mind where thoughts flow like an endless river. It's where you make sense of the chaos, where you rebuild. But don't mistake your quiet for disconnection. People are drawn to you, even if they can't explain why. There's something magnetic about your energy, something that suggests depth, empathy, and mystery. Others sense that you see things they can't. So they come to you for guidance, or simply to be near your calm and steady presence. Creativity runs through your veins. But for you, creativity isn't just about making art. It's about transformation. You take what's invisible, an emotion, an idea, a dream, and turn it into something that can be seen, felt, or heard. You might paint, write, design, or simply daydream in ways that help others glimpse beauty beyond logic. Your ideas often feel ahead of their time. Not everyone will understand your vision, but those who do recognize the brilliance of your originality. Still, your depth comes with a price. You feel emotions intensely. You're sensitive to energies, moods, and the quiet undercurrents that others miss. It's both your gift and your burden. Sometimes it overwhelms you. That's why you keep your circle small. Loyalty means everything to you, and when you love deeply, in a way that transforms both you and the other person. Your love is soulful, rare, and unforgettable. But there are moments when you feel misunderstood, like your world exists in layers too deep for most people to explore. That loneliness can sting. Yet remember this: your uniqueness is not isolation. It's your superpower. You weren't meant to fade into the background. You were meant to illuminate paths others can't even see. If you chose purple, you are a seeker, a visionary, a builder of unseen worlds. You remind the rest of us that life isn't just about what we can touch or measure. It's about what we can feel, imagine, and believe. Your presence is a quiet revolution. You inspire others to look deeper, think wider, and live more authentically. If you chose blue, if your spirit was drawn to blue, it reveals your longing for peace, clarity, and truth. Blue is the color of vast oceans and open skies, limitless, calm, and steady. It carries the vibration of serenity, trust, and emotional balance. By choosing blue, you show the world that harmony matters to you, not just around you, but within you. You crave balance in a world that's constantly pulling in opposite directions. You understand that real strength doesn't come from control or noise. It comes from stillness. Your energy feels like fresh air after a storm. People feel safe around you. They sense that you're someone who listens with empathy, who comforts without judgment. You don't have to speak loudly to be heard. Your quiet presence is its own kind of power. Blue also represents honesty and integrity. You value truth, not just the truth of facts, but the truth of feelings. Pretending or putting on masks drains you. You want realness. You want people who speak from the heart. That's why others see you as trustworthy, dependable, and loyal. You stand by your values, even when it's hard. You have a deep emotional intelligence. You feel things deeply but respond with thoughtfulness. You don't react on impulse. You think before you act. This makes you a natural peacemaker, the person who steadies the ship when everyone else is panicking. But there's a challenge here, too. Because you crave peace, you sometimes avoid conflict at any cost. Your diplomacy is admirable, but be careful not to silence your own truth just to keep others comfortable. True harmony includes your voice, too. Like the ocean, your emotions have depth. On the surface, you seem calm and collected, but beneath that calm lies a world of dreams, reflections, and untapped strength. You're capable of deep love and profound connection, but you don't give your heart easily. You choose carefully, because when you do give it, it's wholehearted and enduring. If you chose blue, you are a healer, a peacemaker, a soul who reminds us that gentleness is not weakness, it's power. You carry both the vastness of the sky and the stillness of the sea. In a restless world, you are the anchor, the one who holds steady when everything else is adrift. If you chose red, if your instincts pulled you toward red, it reveals a spirit that burns with passion, intensity, and an unshakable hunger for life. Red is the color of fire, blood, and raw energy. It's the color of vitality, power, and forward momentum, the pulse of survival itself. Choosing red means you are not here to live a half-lived life. You want to feel everything, experience everything, and leave your mark on the world. You're bold, driven, and unafraid to chase after what you want. Where others hesitate, you act. That courage, that refusal to hold back, sets you apart. People often see you as a natural leader. There's something magnetic about your energy, something that inspires others to move, to rise, to take risks. When you walk into a room, things change. People feel your presence like heat. It's thrilling, alive, and unforgettable. You live life on your own terms. You don't settle for mediocrity when greatness is within reach. You push boundaries, challenge limits, and refuse to be contained by what others think is safe. To you, risk is not a threat, it's fuel. But your fire doesn't just show up in your ambition. It runs deep through your emotions, too. You love with intensity. You fight with passion. You care fiercely about the people and causes close to your heart. When you commit to something, or someone, you do it completely. Half measures? Not your thing. People feel your passion the moment they meet you. Being near you is like standing next to a flame, exhilarating, magnetic, but also unpredictable. And that intensity, while powerful, comes with its challenges. Because you burn so brightly, you sometimes act before thinking. You leap before you look. This boldness can lead to incredible victories, but it can also bring impulsive mistakes. You hunger for action, movement, progress. So much that patience can feel like a cage. Learning to pause, to breathe, to rest your fire, that's your growth edge. When your energy is focused and grounded, it becomes unstoppable. Beneath all that boldness, though, there's something few people see: your vulnerability. You feel everything at full volume, even pain. You may hide it behind strength and confidence, but your heart is deeply sensitive. That's not a flaw. It's what gives your life its richness and your relationships their depth. You know what it's like to get knocked down, but you always rise again. Because red also symbolizes resilience. Challenges don't break you, they awaken you. Each time life tests you, your willpower sharpens. Each obstacle becomes a spark that reignites your drive. You are the kind of person who turns setbacks into comebacks. You thrive in motion. You were born to lead, to create, to push the world forward. When your passion aligns with your purpose, you become a force of nature. If you chose red, you remind the world that life isn't meant to be played small. It's meant to burn bright. Your courage is your compass, your fire is your gift, and your passion, that beautiful, unstoppable flame, is the spark that turns dreams into reality. If you chose yellow, if your heart was drawn to yellow, it reveals a soul overflowing with warmth, optimism, and curiosity. Yellow is the color of sunlight, radiant, joyful, and full of possibility. It brings energy, hope, and renewal. By choosing yellow, you show that even in a world full of shadows, you are the kind of person who seeks the light. You don't just look for silver linings, you create them. At your core, you are a dreamer, but not the type lost in fantasies. Your dreams are alive, electric, bursting with action. You wake up with ideas that feel like sparks ready to ignite. You're driven by curiosity, always reaching for something new to learn, create, or explore. To you, life is a grand adventure, and you want to experience as much of it as you can. People are drawn to you because your energy feels like sunshine. You lift others up just by being around them. You give them courage, laughter, and hope. You can walk into a room and change its entire mood without even trying. You remind people that joy isn't just an emotion, it's a way of life, but your brightness comes with depth. Your optimism isn't naive, it's a conscious choice. You've seen darkness, you've felt pain, but you've decided not to let it define you. That's what makes your light powerful. You don't shine because you've never seen the dark. You shine because you know it, and you choose to rise above it. That resilience is your quiet strength. When life knocks you down, you may bend, but you never break. You rise again, stronger and brighter than before. Still, your hunger for light can sometimes make you restless. You fear failure, not because of pride, but because it feels like losing your spark. That fear can drive you to chase the next big thing before you've even enjoyed what you've already achieved. Learning to pause, to rest without guilt, will help your light burn steadier and stronger. In relationships, you bring joy, laughter, and warmth. You're the one who helps friends find the silver lining when everything feels heavy. You carry a contagious optimism that reminds people that better days are always coming. But don't forget, you're allowed to shine for yourself too. You don't always have to be everyone else's sunshine. You can rest. You can lean on others. You can let your light dim for a while. It doesn't mean it's gone. If you chose yellow, you are the sunrise in human form. You remind the world that no matter how dark it gets, light always returns. Your laughter is healing. Your curiosity is your compass. And your optimism, that fearless belief in better days, is what makes you unforgettable. You weren't meant to live quietly. You were meant to shine so brightly that others remember the sun exists within themselves too. The meaning behind it all. Throughout this journey, we've explored what each color, purple, blue, red, and yellow, reveals about who you are. And what's fascinating is how something so simple can uncover something so profound. These colors aren't just shades on a palette, they're symbols. Each one carries a unique vibration, a distinct emotional frequency that resonates with different parts of your personality, your desires, and your spirit. Carl Jung, one of the pioneers of analytical psychology, believed that colors and symbols are keys to the unconscious mind. He saw them not as decoration, but as living bridges between the conscious and the subconscious, between who we think we are and who we truly are. So when you're drawn to a certain color, you're not just choosing with your eyes, you're responding with your soul. Maybe you learned something surprising about yourself in this process, a strength you hadn't recognized, or a truth you'd forgotten. Or maybe this test simply confirmed what you've always known deep down. Either way, it's powerful. Because every time you become aware of who you are, every time you listen to your intuition, you step closer to authenticity. You start to live more intentionally, more in tune with your own energy. And that's what this entire exercise is about. Once you've discovered the color that resonates with you, the journey doesn't stop there. In fact, that's just the beginning. Each color isn't simply a label or a personality type. It's a language. A way your subconscious communicates what you need, what you crave, and how you move through the world. Carl Jung believed that symbols, including colors, are living bridges between our inner and outer selves. When you feel drawn to a particular shade, it's your psyche expressing something beyond words. So instead of just asking, "What does this color mean about me?" it's more powerful to ask, "What is this color trying to teach me right now?" Because here's the truth. The color that pulls you in today may not be the same one that calls to you next month or next year. As you grow, evolve, and change, so does the energy you're drawn to. That's why it's fascinating to notice which colors attract you in different seasons of your life. When you're craving rest or clarity, you might find yourself surrounded by shades of blue, the energy of peace and calm. When you're seeking transformation or self-discovery, purple may appear in your life more often, through art, clothes, or even the things you're drawn to online. When you're ready to take bold action, you might start noticing red everywhere, in signs, decor, or inspiration boards. And when you're entering a season of joy, curiosity, or creativity, yellow tends to show up like sunlight breaking through the clouds. Our souls speak through patterns, and colors are one of the simplest ways to listen. How to use your color in everyday life. Once you've discovered your color, try inviting it into your daily world, not just as an aesthetic, but as a kind of emotional compass. If your color is purple, surround yourself with it when you need to think deeply or connect with your intuition. A purple notebook, candle, or piece of clothing can help ground your thoughts and guide you into clarity. If you chose blue, bring it into your space when you're seeking calm or focus. Blue tones in your environment, whether it's a wall color, a painting, or even a small bracelet, help quiet the mind and encourage emotional balance. If your soul leans toward red, use it to spark motivation and courage. Add touches of red when you're about to start something big, like a new project, a workout, or an important meeting. It reminds you of your inner strength and your ability to take action. And if yellow is your color, weave it into your life when you need optimism or confidence. It's a visual reminder that joy and creativity are choices you can make, even when life feels heavy. The idea isn't to decorate your life around one color forever. Instead, it's to tune into the colors that call to you in each phase of your journey. Think of it like emotional resonance. Colors are frequencies, and your soul will always gravitate toward the one it needs most. The psychological power of color science has long shown that color impacts our emotions and behavior. Marketers use color psychology to influence our choices, and artists use it to evoke feeling. But on a personal level, color is even more powerful. It shapes how we perceive ourselves and how we project our energy into the world. For example, red increases heart rate and adrenaline. It sparks action. That's why it's often associated with power, energy, and leadership. Blue, on the other hand, lowers blood pressure and slows the heartbeat. It's associated with stability, trust, and serenity. It helps calm the nervous system and restore balance. Yellow activates optimism and creativity. It engages the brain's left hemisphere, the part responsible for logic and learning, which explains why it stimulates curiosity and problem solving. Purple, being a combination of calming blue and stimulating red, carries the energy of balance. It enhances imagination, intuition, and higher awareness, making it the color most often linked to spirituality and wisdom. When Jung talked about color as a bridge to the soul, he meant that these responses aren't just physical, they're emotional, even spiritual. Your reaction to a color reveals your internal state, what you're seeking, what you're missing, or what part of you is ready to emerge. So, the next time you find yourself inexplicably drawn to a certain shade, pay attention. It might not just be your eyes choosing. It could be your subconscious trying to tell you something. Listening to your inner palette. Here's a simple practice you can try after this video. For 1 week, take note of the colors that repeatedly show up around you, in your clothes, social media feeds, dreams, or even the products you're drawn to. Don't force it, just observe. Then ask yourself, what's this color trying to tell me? If you keep noticing blue, maybe your soul is craving peace or emotional stability. If red keeps showing up, maybe you're being called to take bold action. If yellow keeps catching your eye, perhaps you're entering a phase of growth or creativity. And if purple seems to follow you, you might be in a season of deep reflection or spiritual transformation. The more you notice, the more fluent you become in your inner language. And that awareness helps you live more consciously. Colors and the collective unconscious. Jung's theory of the collective unconscious teaches that deep inside every human being are universal symbols, archetypes that transcend time and culture. Colors, like dreams and myths, are expressions of those archetypes. For example, throughout history, red has symbolized life force and passion. It's in fire, in blood, in every heartbeat. Blue has always represented the heavens, water, and tranquility. Purple was reserved for royalty and mystics, a symbol of wisdom and sacred insight. And yellow, the color of the sun, has always been associated with joy, intellect, and enlightenment. These meanings aren't coincidences. They're part of our shared human story, woven into how we experience the world. That's why color can evoke such deep emotions even when we don't understand why. When you respond to a color, you're connecting to something ancient, something beyond logic. You're tapping into the shared language of the human spirit, integrating the message. As you move through your day, try to bring your color's message into how you live. If you chose purple, remember that wisdom and creativity are your gifts, but balance that depth with lightness. Don't get lost in thought. Bring your dreams to life. If you chose blue, keep being the calm in the storm, but don't silence your truth for the sake of peace. Your voice deserves to be heard too. If you chose red, honor your passion, but channel it wisely. Sometimes power grows stronger in moments of stillness than in constant motion. And if you chose yellow, keep spreading light, but don't forget to rest. Even the sun sets, and it always rises brighter the next day. Your color isn't a box, it's a mirror. It reflects who you are right now and who you're becoming. In the end, the colors we love are reminders of what our souls already know. We are emotional beings, guided by unseen forces, intuition, imagination, desire. And color is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to listen to that inner voice. When you choose a color that feels right, you're really choosing alignment. You're saying yes to the parts of yourself that want to be seen, expressed, and understood. So keep paying attention, keep noticing what draws you in. Because every shade, every hue, every flicker of color around you, it's all part of your story. When you begin to see color not as a surface, but as a symbol, something changes in how you perceive the world. You start noticing the way life communicates with you through tiny, almost imperceptible signals. A red bird perched outside your window before you make a big decision. A blue scarf gifted to you by a friend when you're feeling overwhelmed. A yellow light that breaks through the clouds after a hard week. A purple flower blooming in a place you thought was barren. Jung would call this synchronicity, meaningful coincidence, the universe mirroring your inner state through external signs. And color is one of the most poetic mirrors there is. It's as if life keeps whispering, "I see you. Here's the energy you need." The subconscious language of color. Every color you notice carries two stories, one personal and one collective. The personal story is shaped by your own memories and associations. Maybe red reminds you of your mother's favorite dress or the feeling of summer heat on your skin. Maybe blue reminds you of the ocean from a childhood trip. These emotional imprints make color deeply individual. But the collective story, that's where it becomes mystical. Across cultures, time, and geography, humans have instinctively associated certain feelings with certain colors. And the fact that we all feel colors in similar ways hints at something profound, a shared emotional blueprint. That's why when you're drawn to a color, it's not random. You're resonating with an energy that belongs both to you and to the whole human story. A quiet meditation. Here's a small exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing in a quiet space. It could be a room, a garden, or a place that only exists in your mind. Now let your color begin to fill that space. If it's blue, imagine the walls breathing with stillness, the sound of water, the softness of twilight. If it's red, feel the warmth rise through you, the pulse of life, courage awakening in your chest. If it's yellow, sense the light spreading from within, the hum of laughter, curiosity unfolding like morning. If it's purple, imagine a calm radiance surrounding you, mystery, depth, and the feeling of quiet understanding. Breathe it in. Let the color move through your body, through your thoughts, your heartbeat, your breath. Let it show you what you need to remember. When you open your eyes again, notice how your perspective shifts, how the world looks slightly different. That's because color is not just seen, it's felt. The emotional frequencies of color. If you think of emotions as frequencies, color becomes a form of tuning. When you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or scattered, the right color can bring you back into balance. Here's a simple guide. Blue helps dissolve anxiety. It reminds you to slow down, to breathe, to release control. Red reignites drive when you've lost momentum. It fuels your willpower and confidence. Yellow uplifts you when life feels heavy. It restores hope and imagination. Purple reconnects you to meaning when you feel lost. It invites reflection and inner peace. Try this. When you wake up tomorrow, instead of checking your phone, take a breath and ask, what color do I need today? Then notice which one appears in your mind's eye first. Trust that instinct. That's your subconscious guiding you toward balance. A bridge between mind and spirit. Modern psychology has long studied how color affects mood, but Jung's view was more poetic and more spiritual. He believed that color was one of the few things that could bridge the conscious and unconscious mind. When you interact with a color that resonates deeply, you're momentarily aligned, mind, body, and soul in harmony. That's why looking at a certain shade can make you feel at peace or energized without knowing why. It's the same feeling artists describe when they lose themselves in creation, or mystics describe during meditation. It's that fleeting moment when your inner and outer worlds merge, and that's the gift of color. It reminds you that even in the most ordinary moments, you are connected to something vast, vibrant, and alive. Color as a daily ritual. Color can become a gentle ritual, a mindfulness practice hidden in plain sight. You don't need incense or candles, just awareness. Wear your color intentionally. Surround yourself with it when you need strength. Paint with it when words fail. Let it be a small act of devotion, not to the color itself, but to the part of you it represents. If blue is your color, take time to sit by water, journal under the open sky, or simply listen more deeply. If red, move your body, dance, walk, express. Let the fire move through you. If yellow, write, sing, create something for the joy of it. Let your inner child breathe. If purple, spend time in silence, read something that nourishes your mind, or gaze at the stars. Ritual doesn't need to be complex. It only needs presence. The seasons of color. Over time, you might notice that your soul's color changes. This isn't inconsistency, it's evolution. We move through emotional seasons, and each one carries its own palette. There are times when life feels fiery and urgent, a red season of growth and courage. Times of calm introspection, a blue season of healing and peace. Moments of joy and expansion, a yellow season of curiosity and play. And periods of mystery and depth, a purple season of transformation. You don't choose the color chooses you. When you accept that, life starts to flow with more grace. You stop forcing yourself to be in one emotional state forever. You let each color come, teach, and then fade into the next. Because ultimately, the journey of self-discovery isn't about staying one way. It's about learning to move fluidly through all the shades of being human. A subtle truth. Here's something beautiful to remember. You are not one color. You are the entire spectrum. Every feeling, every thought, every experience adds another hue to your being. Your sadness has a color. Your laughter has one too. Even silence has a tone. When you learn to embrace all of them, not just the bright ones, but the dark and muted ones as well, you begin to live more wholly. Because the goal isn't to be colorful all the time. The goal is to be true. The deeper you go into this journey, the more you begin to understand that color isn't something you simply look at. It's something you live with. It's an invisible companion that reflects, shapes, and transforms the way you move through life. Every color carries an emotion. Every emotion carries a story, and every story carries a truth about who you are and what you need in this moment of your evolution. When you start to live with awareness of color, you stop seeing it as decoration and begin to feel it as communication, a constant dialogue between your inner and outer world. Color and emotion. Think about how your emotions shift your perception of the world around you. When you're sad, the world seems washed in gray. When you're in love, everything glows a little warmer. It's not that the colors themselves have changed. You have. Your emotional state filters what you perceive. But this filter works both ways. By consciously surrounding yourself with certain colors, you can gently influence your emotions in return. When you're feeling lost or anxious, blue helps stabilize your breath and thoughts. When you feel uninspired or disconnected, yellow rekindles your curiosity. When you're afraid to act, red lends courage. When you're unsure of your purpose, purple invites reflection. Each color is like an emotional tuning fork. You strike it, and your inner vibration begins to match its frequency. The colors between people. Colors don't just affect how we feel, they affect how we connect. Every person carries a subtle energetic palette, and when two people interact, their colors blend like watercolors on paper. That's why some people feel instantly calming. They bring a blue energy into the room. Others inspire you. Their yellow aura feels like sunlight. Some challenge you to act. Their red presence sparks your ambition. And a few seem to hold quiet mystery, a purple resonance that draws you inward. Pay attention to how you feel in someone's presence. That feeling is often your color meeting theirs. When relationships fall into disharmony, it's usually because the colors have lost balance, too much intensity, too little grounding, or a mismatch of frequencies. Learning to sense and honor those subtle dynamics helps you build relationships that are not only emotionally fulfilling, but energetically aligned. You can practice this by noticing who makes you feel peaceful, blue, who ignites your courage, red, who opens your mind, purple, who makes you laugh and breathe easier, yellow. Your connections will begin to feel more intentional, like an art form of energy exchange. Color and identity. There's also a fascinating connection between color and identity. The shades you choose, in clothing, art, or your environment, often reflect the parts of yourself that are asking to be seen. Someone who always wears black might not be hiding, but seeking simplicity, focus, or protection from sensory overload. Someone drawn to bright hues might be expressing a soul that's ready to expand, explore, and be known. Over time, your preferred palette evolves as your sense of self does. When you go through loss, you might gravitate toward muted tones, not because you're fading, but because your energy is retreating inward to heal. When you emerge from that period, vibrant colors feel almost magnetic, a sign that your spirit is stretching outward again. Instead of judging these changes, notice them. Let them guide you. What colors are you living in right now? And what might that say about the chapter you're in? The hidden color of silence. Even absence has color. Silence, for example, often feels like a deep, soft gray, the kind that appears before dawn or after a storm. It's the color of stillness and reset. Moments of grief carry hues too: indigo, dusty rose, muted gold. They remind us that pain isn't void, it's full of texture and meaning. When Jung wrote about the process of individuation, the integration of the conscious and unconscious self, he often used metaphors of light and shadow. In color theory, shadow isn't the absence of light, it's simply light transformed. Likewise, your emotional shadows are not emptiness, they're potential waiting to be understood. The gray moments of your life are not devoid of color, they are where new tones are born. The ritual of attention. If you begin to pay attention to the color of your day, the light, the atmosphere, even your thoughts, you start to notice a rhythm. Morning often feels yellow or pale blue, gentle beginnings. Midday glows gold or white, action and clarity. Evening fades into violet or indigo, reflection and surrender. And night, deep black, invites rest, the color of potential, of unformed dreams. This natural cycle mirrors the emotional and spiritual rhythm of life. Every day, you move through a miniature version of your own evolution, from birth to death to rebirth, painted in the shifting colors of light. To live with color awareness is to live awake, healing through color. While modern science calls it chromotherapy, ancient cultures already knew the healing power of color. Egyptian temples had rooms dedicated to different hues of light. Indian and Tibetan systems linked colors to chakras, energy centers of the body. Even in Western mysticism, colors have long been tied to virtues, planets, and spiritual states. What they all point to is the same truth. Color is vibration, and vibration is life. When you meditate on or visualize a color, you invite its frequency into your energy field. It's a form of emotional recalibration, one that works below the level of words. So the next time you feel disconnected, try this simple practice. Sit quietly, close your eyes, visualize your color, not just as light, but as warmth. Let it fill your chest, your breath, your mind. Stay there until you feel the edges of yourself soften. That is color as healing. Not therapy in the traditional sense, but communion, a reconnection to the rhythm of your own being. Integration. The goal isn't to memorize color meanings or to analyze every shade you see. It's to feel. Let your relationship with color be intuitive, fluid, alive. Over time, you'll start to sense which colors restore you, which drain you, which challenge you to grow. You'll understand that the world is constantly offering medicine in visual form, and all you have to do is receive it. Now that we've journeyed through the language of color, emotion, and the subconscious, it's time to bring everything together, to see how this awareness translates into the way you live, create, and connect. Understanding color isn't just about decoding personality traits. It's about awakening sensitivity, learning to read the hidden dialogue between your inner world and the outer one. When you begin to notice the colors around you, you start to realize that life is constantly speaking. not in words, but in tones, textures, and hues. Colors are not passive. They respond to you. They shift when your mood shifts. They mirror your mental state, and they help you navigate what logic alone cannot explain. When you truly see color, you're not just observing the world, you're feeling it, living it, and becoming a participant in its silent rhythm. Color as a mirror of growth. Think about your favorite color from childhood. Maybe it was bright red, full of energy and adventure. Then, as you grew older, perhaps you found comfort in blue, craving calm and safety. Or maybe now you're drawn to purple, searching for meaning and connection beyond the surface. Each stage of your life has its color story. These aren't just aesthetic choices, they're markers of your evolution. The color you love most right now often reflects the lesson your soul is learning. Red teaches courage, blue teaches peace, yellow teaches optimism, purple teaches wisdom. And as you change, your palette expands. You learn to hold more shades within you, to embrace the fiery and the gentle, the light and the dark, the known and the mysterious. Life, in its essence, is about learning to blend these colors without losing your own. The subconscious palette. Every day, your subconscious paints with color. The tones of your dreams, the memories that replay in your mind, the spaces you're drawn to, even the foods you crave. When you wake up and feel the need for sunlight, your body is asking for yellow, energy, and clarity. When you choose a navy sweater on a day you need focus, your intuition already knows you need grounding. Your subconscious communicates through subtle cues, and color is one of its favorite languages. Jung believed that the soul uses symbols because it can't always speak directly through words. Color is one of those symbols, primal, universal, deeply emotional. It bypasses intellect and reaches straight into the heart. So when you feel drawn to a color, don't dismiss it as coincidence. It's a conversation, a whisper from your inner self saying, "This is what I need right now." Living in alignment with your colors. Once you know your colors, the ones that strengthen, soothe, and awaken you, you can start weaving them intentionally into your life. In your home, paint or decorate with tones that bring balance. Keep splashes of your chosen color where your eyes rest most often: a wall, a pillow, a plant pot, a candle. In your clothing, wear colors that match your energy for the day. If you need confidence, wear red. If you need serenity, wear blue. If you want joy, wear yellow. If you need reflection, wear purple. In your creativity, let color guide your process. Artists and designers know that each hue carries a mood, but even if you're not an artist, the way you use color in your space, your work, or your expression shapes your emotional landscape. Living with awareness of color isn't about control, it's about alignment. When your external world reflects your internal one, you feel harmony. The spectrum of the self. Every person carries within them all colors, every emotion, every potential, every contradiction. The calm of blue, the fire of red, the light of yellow, the depth of purple, they all coexist within you, shifting with your growth. You are not just one shade, you are the entire spectrum. When you accept that, life becomes more fluid. You stop labeling emotions as good or bad, and instead begin to see them as waves of color moving through your consciousness. Sadness becomes deep indigo, teaching empathy. Anger becomes red, teaching power. Hope becomes gold, teaching resilience. Even darkness, black, has purpose. It's the canvas that makes all other colors visible. Without shadow, there is no light. Without contrast, there is no understanding. So when you go through dark times, remember, black is not emptiness, it is potential. The place where all colors begin, the color of connection. Imagine the world if we could all see each other through color, not the physical tones of skin or eyes, but the emotional radiance of our spirits. You'd see someone glowing in soft blues of compassion, another shining with bold reds of courage, someone else flickering with gentle yellows of kindness. We'd understand each other better. We'd communicate beyond words. We'd realize that even when our shades differ, we're all part of one grand, ever-changing painting, a masterpiece of emotion and energy. This is what makes humanity beautiful. We are all light refracted through different prisms, reflecting countless possibilities. Reflection and closing. So now, as you return to your day, to the familiar rhythm of work, screens, conversations, pause for a moment. Look around you. Notice the colors in the room. Notice which ones call to you. Notice how they make you feel. That awareness, simple as it seems, is the beginning of deeper presence. Colors are not just around you, they are you. They move with your breath, your choices, your emotions. They are your story told in light. Carl Jung once wrote, "The soul becomes colored by the color of its thoughts." And in that sense, to live consciously with color is to live consciously with your soul. You are a living palette, an evolving blend of memory, dream, and possibility. Every shade you've ever loved or feared is part of your becoming, and each new day is another stroke on the canvas of your life. So choose your colors with intention. Let them remind you of your strength, your softness, your depth. Let them guide you back to yourself. Because in the end, colors aren't just something you see, they are something you are. And through them, you discover not only who you've been, but who you're still becoming. If you've come this far, thank you. If this journey spoke to you, share your color below. Tell me which shade called your name and what it revealed about you. And remember, this isn't just a test, it's an invitation to know yourself more deeply, to live more consciously, and to see the world not in black and white, but in the infinite brilliance of being alive. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and never stop exploring the colors of your soul.